to another episode of the Wanky Thoughts podcast. Now, this is going to be a short one, purely because my phone is out of battery and for some reason I can't charge it up in the car. So, today, my episode is inspired by my friend Jen. So, Jen is, you'd describe her as a high flyer in the corporate world. She's had really senior jobs, loads of experience, really knows her shizzle, right, when it comes to what she does. And basically she got made redundant, right? And like a lot of women, she's got a family, and really the corporate world is not designed, is it, for people with kids? Because you've got to go and do stupid hours, and you've got to be in an office and tied to a desk and all that rubbish. So it made her think, well, actually, why don't I just do something by myself? Like, why don't I turn all these skills and offer, coaching and mentoring and like an advisor to CEOs and stuff. So anyway, that's what she's done. And she's secured a first client, done amazingly. And she's got a first call on Friday. And we were just messaging back and forth. And she just said, I'm getting, I'm excited, but I'm getting nervous because I don't feel ready. Right, and this is a classic. I've struggled with this as well. Don't feel ready. Now, let's just examine this logically. So this lady, brilliant at what she does, worked for like amazing organisations, well-renowned, top of the game for, I don't know how many years, but let's say more than 10, 15 years, right? It's probably more than that. But yet she still doesn't feel ready. Now, I also spoke to somebody else the other day, which was very interesting, where she said her company would charge her out to their clients at eye-watering amounts. I mean, like, 10, 20 plus £1,000 for a day, right? And then when we looked at her pricing, she was charging like £300, £350. And I said, what would you like? What would you like to do? And she said, well, I'd like to charge a bit closer to what the company used to charge me out at. And I said, well, why don't you then? Because you were the product, you were the person going and delivering it. And she said the same. Oh, I don't feel ready to charge that much. I don't feel, I don't feel ready. And I resonate with this a lot because I have to catch myself because, where did this idea come from that we needed to be ready, that we had to have everything in place, or we had to have the most experience and had to have everything figured out before we were ready? And there's two things to, I suppose, reflect on here. One is a lot of us are telling ourselves that we're not ready when we are more than ready. And we've got experience coming out of our ears. And this is a classic wanky thought, that as soon as you take yourself out of the corporate world where, that supercomputer in your head that runs your life on autopilot and kind of, decides things for you, it's built up a safety net in the corporate world of it's okay because it's not me charging that, or it's not me saying I can do all these things, it's somebody else, and then I just go and deliver. And I think when it comes to your business, that supercomputer then goes, oh my God, like this feels really uncomfortable, because it's not a normal situation. Your mind is not used to it. And this is why we then have these wanky thoughts that, well, we should be ready. But if you think about how civilization began, can you imagine if they'd have waited till they were ready to start civilization? God. But when time began, the men would go out and hunt, and the women would stay and tend camp and look after the kids and cook. Now, can you imagine if, the bloke was like, well, we really need to be taking little Johnny out to learn to hunt, because if he doesn't learn these skills, he will surely die. So they're life skills that, he needs to know. But we shan't take him today because he's not quite ready. That's not how they operated. They would be like, Johnny, you can walk, you're all right, you're coming out with Dad, and I'm going to teach you to hunt. And I'm sure there were, you know, some hair-raising experiences where it didn't almost quite work out, and, you know, it were life and death. But he learned on the job. It's the same with those that would stay back in camp, the women, you know, and make dinner. You know, they didn't sit there going, do you know what? I know I need to cook for the camp and the blokes that have just gone out and used all their energy catching a buffalo, but I'm not quite a gourmet chef yet. I'm not Gordon Ramsay level. I'm not quite ready. So I'll wait, if you don't mind, before I start dabbling with the food. They just learn as they went on. And you think about things a bit closer in time. Walking is a classic example I give for many scenarios. There's no kid goes, oh, I don't think I'm quite ready for walking. I don't think I've got what it takes. I don't think I'm quite there yet. I'll tell you what, I'll read about it a bit more. I'll get another qualification in walking, read a few more books, watch a few more YouTubes, download some freebies about how to walk. No. Of course, it's a joke. Of course you didn't. Like, nobody does this, of course. But what you did do is you got up and you walked across the room, walked across the kitchen, and you fell on your ass multiple times. Probably face planted a few times. Probably hurt yourself a few times. But you did not wait to be ready. Have you ever tried to stop a toddler from walking? You know when they get to that age where you're like, oh my God, you think it's hard when they're newborn. Then they get to toddler stage and you're like, oh my God, will they just sit still? They will not sit still. They do not wait for permission. They do not wait to be ready. They do not wait for anything. They will just go and do what the heck they like. They'll be in your cupboards. They'll be pulling all the stuff out. They do not care. Do you know why? Do you know why they do not wait to be ready? Because they haven't had a lifetime of society giving them wanky thoughts about you've got to be ready and you've got to be at this level, and if you make a mistake then you're going to look a knobhead, and if you fail then that's something that you shouldn't do and failure should be avoided, and you're not good enough and nobody likes you, and all this stuff, all this wanky stuff that goes in our head. So I talk about this supercomputer that is in your head. So just imagine part of your mind that is like a computer. So everything that happens to you, when you're born, it's blank, which is why you just get up and walk and you don't care. There's no wanky thoughts in there because the computer hard drive is blank, right? But then over time, what happens is you go to school and somebody leaves you out and they don't want to play with you because you haven't got the right hairdo and you haven't got the right hair bobble and your trainers don't look right, and you put your hand up in maths and you get the can't even speak. You put your hand up in maths and you answer the question but you get it all wrong. Or these are all examples of things that have happened to me. You answer but then you say everything asked about front. Or you go up to your teacher and you go, Mum, and she goes, I'm not your mum, I'm your teacher, and you feel all embarrassed. All of these feelings, all of these experiences and how you feel go into that computer. Now, unfortunately, when this computer is maturing, you are very young. You know, you are 3 years old upwards. And we then start experiencing these emotions. And it really depends on like how, you know, if that emotion was really intense and when I called my teacher Mum, I mean, she laughed. She probably thought, oh, how lovely, how, but I went bright red and I was like, what a knobhead. I can't believe I've just done that. She must think I'm stupid because I love this teacher so much. It's probably why I called her Mum. But in subconsciously, because I felt so embarrassed, that computer's going, right, well, let's not speak out anymore because you just end up being a knob. And then it searches for more evidence to back up the fact that you're a bit of a knob and you're a bit stupid and you're not very clever. And it all goes into that computer. And then unfortunately, this computer that is full, it is jam-packed full of wanky thoughts, unfortunately, then runs your life on autopilot. Now, we think as humans that we're very clever, and we analyse each situation, and we make decisions, and take each situation on its own merit, and make decisions based on logic. We do not make decisions based on logic. Far from it. What we do is this computer pipes up, and all this emotional baggage and all these stories that we've created about ourselves come teeming back over us. So, of course, when my friend Jen logically she knows she's got loads of experience and she's going to smash this coaching session, logically. But we do not think logically. We think logically like less than 1% of our day is logic. And that's only when we think to turn the logic system on. Most of what we do is habitual. And it's all based on what's in that computer. Because your mind, it likes shortcuts. So it doesn't analyse every situation and every opportunity that comes up. It just goes, well, what did we do last time? So if you keep telling yourself that you're not ready, and you're not ready for that client, or you're not ready to put your prices up, or you're not ready to speak on that stage, or do a video, or whatever it is that you keep telling yourself, you're not good enough, you're not a speaker, you look a mess on camera, whatever it is that you keep telling yourself, unfortunately, that is getting strengthened in that supercomputer. So next time the same opportunity arises, we wonder why we can't break this cycle, because we think, well, I want to do it and it makes sense, and if I go and speak at that event, I'll grow my audience and blah, 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 blah. And we think, why are we not doing it? Because we've got the wanky thoughts in the computer, which makes us feel not ready. It makes us question, are we good enough? It makes us doubt ourselves, because unfortunately that computer, it wants the best for us. Right? It wants to protect us, and it's really using another part of our brain, which is our survival system, and they kind of work together. And it looks in the computer and it goes, well, what do we normally do? And it's like a survival thing. So your mind does not want you stepping out your comfort zone, because really the job of your mind is to keep you reproducing and keep you alive. So when it looks in that computer, it goes, well, she's still alive. She's still, she's still here. She's still breathing. I'm doing a good job. It doesn't think, well, let's see how she can thrive. Let's see how she can really enjoy life. Let's see how she can really maximize, the heck out of life and say yes to every opportunity. It does not think like that, right? Don't think. It's just based on all of the information that's in it. And it treats that information as fact. It doesn't treat it as stories, and it can't use hindsight. Don't go, yeah, but the reason you're not ready and you think you're a knobhead is because of that incident at school when you got left out and you felt like a complete loser. It doesn't do that. It just goes, if you step outside your comfort zone and you do something new, something bad will happen. And because its job is survival, it can't differentiate between you're going to get run over by a bus survival or eaten by a tiger survival versus you might look a tit. So it treats death and embarrassment as the same threat level, which is why it feels so out of proportion, your reaction, when you think, I've just got to do a coaching session with somebody. I've done this 1,000 times. Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel nervous? Why am I doubting myself? Well, because that computer and that little part of your survival system is trying to keep you safe, and it's using all the information that it's got as fact, as absolute fact. It can't think, it can't read between the lines, it don't think in black and white, it just thinks fact. So if you want to, grow your business, if you want to step outside that comfort zone, whatever that looks like for you in business, so it might be doing your first video, it might be setting up a YouTube channel, it might be, speaking on a massive podcast, or going to speak at a big event, or doing your first coaching session. If you want to be able to do these things with ease and at your full potential, and not have all this brain chatter, not have all this overthinking and all this worrying that it's exhausting to carry this round with you. Imagine how much better, how much more productive you would be for your clients, how much happier you would be without all of this brain chatter, overanalyzing and comparing yourself and trying to be perfect. Like, it is literally exhausting. So if you want to grow your business, and this applies to life, not just your business, anything you want to do outside your comfort zone, if you want to make these things easier, you've got two choices, right? One, you can battle on like you've been doing, but you know how painful it feels. You know how exhausting it feels. Like, life is short. Do we want everything to feel like we're going into battle, right? So you can do that if you want. It's what I did for probably the first 6 years of my business, right? I got to a point where I was so burnt out. I got kids, babies, and I gave up on my business because that is what it did to me, because I just couldn't take any more of this doubt and this second guessing. It is paralyzing. It is horrible. So by all means, do that if you want to do that. Or you can take the easy route, or the slightly easier route, because it's not easy. Nothing in life is easy, is it? Let's get at this. That's a wanky thought that life should be easy. Well, it ain't. It's not. It's never been easy for any generation. It's not going to be easy for us, because we're humans with a mind and this computer system and a survival instinct. So you can either battle on, or you can take the slightly easier route and go, okay, well, I'm going to commit to changing these wanky thoughts. So the good news is that there's this thing called neuroplasticity. You've probably heard it. It's a buzzword now. It's everywhere. But neuroplasticity really means that we can change what's in that supercomputer. It's a bit more technical, but we don't need to bore ourselves with all that. We just need to know it's possible. It's possible to remove the wanky thoughts, or certainly manage these wanky thoughts so that they don't derail you, they don't burden you, they don't tire you out with this constant second guessing and overthinking. Now, I know which version I think is easier. It's not the easiest thing in the world to change these thoughts, because it requires time, it requires attention, it requires breaking your old habits, which isn't always easy. And I would say, this isn't a sell, by the way, but it's really difficult to do on your own. I couldn't do it on my own because I was believing my own BS that I was telling myself. I was I'm not a speaker. And I said, somebody asked me why I'm never on Facebook. This was years ago. Why don't you ever do videos on Facebook? Oh, my clients don't watch videos. What a crock of shit. Like, of course they watch videos. They don't listen to podcasts. They don't want to hear my voice. They just want to read a post. Of course, what rubbish. But I genuinely believe this. I also genuinely believe that I wasn't as good as everybody else. So of course I wasn't showing up. Of course I wasn't selling. Of course I wasn't saying yes to podcast opportunities and speaking and an opportunity to be visible and grow my audience. Somebody had to call it out for me. And I won't lie to you, I have not stopped. Like, I still have a coach that calls me out on all my excuses. All my, let's call it what it is, bullshit. Like, the excuses that stop me. I could be my own worst enemy. I could self-sabotage so much of my success if I didn't have somebody going, Helen, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And sometimes I'll explain, oh, well, I'm doing it this because of this. And she'll go, she's quite straight talking. She's a bit like me. She'll go, bullshit, absolute bullshit. And I go, really? And sometimes I've been in arguments with her. I'm going, you're wrong. She's like, well, all right, whatever. How's it working out for you? I'm like, yeah, not very well. And then it takes you have to go, that's just that survival instinct really digging its heels in, going, yeah, you're not ready. Oh my God, you're not ready. Stop this. So a lot of the time, it's really difficult to do on your own. It's why I have set up my group program, my membership, because sometimes you just need somebody to go, that is utter horse manure that you are telling yourself. If you want to join, come and join. By all means, come and join. But you have to, well, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But if you want life to be easier and growing your business to be easier, please just consider the idea that you will remove these wanky thoughts, because I can promise you, hand on heart, telling you from experience, my life is so much better. I take the success and the clients and money and all that materialistic stuff away, right? That's what's happened since I've got rid of my wanky thoughts, right? Obvious. But the things I didn't expect to change were just how much lighter I felt, how much more, I was going to say in control of my life I feel, but no one's really in control of their life either, but just happier, how much of a better partner I am to Chris. I don't nag him so much and I don't get so frustrated. How much of a better mum I am because I don't lose my shizzle at the drop of a hat, because I'm not stressed out all the time and worrying. I don't worry about money anymore. I don't worry about going live anymore. I don't worry about sharing my opinion. I don't worry about trolls or somebody calling me out or saying you got that wrong. I don't worry about failure. You know, if I get stuff wrong now, I go, oh my God, I totally got that wrong. It don't even faze me anymore. And the only reason I've been able to get to that position is because I've got rid of those wanky thoughts. And another thing, I've stopped listening to all the guff on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn of, you've got to do it this way, and if you're not doing it like this, you're not going to make any money. I'm like, oh my God, bore off, will you? You know, trusting my own intuition and trusting that I'm not, you know, thick as two short planks, that I have got a brain, I can use it, and I don't need to follow what everybody else is doing. And it's just made life and growing my business so much easier. Anyway, I'm going to have to go because my battery's going to die. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that. We're turning into a bit of a rant, didn't it? I'll let you know how Jen gets on. And if you want to come and join us in the group, just drop me a message.